Once upon a time, in a small village in India, there lived a wealthy landlord named Vikram. He owned vast fields of golden wheat, a grand mansion with marble floors, and servants who attended to his every need. Everyone in the village knew Vikram as a man of great confidence and power. Vikram walked with his chest puffed out and his head held high. He spoke loudly at village meetings, always having an opinion on everything. When farmers came to him with problems, he would wave his hand dismissively and say, "I have seen everything. I know exactly what to do." The villagers admired him, or so he thought. But deep inside, Vikram was terrified. He feared that people would discover the truth, that he did not know half of what he claimed to know. He had inherited his wealth from his father, who had been a truly wise man. Vikram had never worked a single day in the fields. He had never solved a real problem on his own. Everything he said was borrowed from others or simply made up to sound impressive. One day, a young farmer named Raju came to Vikram's mansion. Raju's crops were dying, and his family was facing starvation. "Sir," Raju said with folded hands, "please help me. My wheat is turning yellow, and I don't know what to do." Vikram barely looked up from his comfortable chair. "Simple," he declared with a confident smile. "You are watering too much. Stop watering for 2 weeks, and everything will be fine." Raju trusted the landlord's words and followed his advice. But 2 weeks later, his entire crop was dead, his children cried from hunger, and his wife wept silently. When Raju returned to confront Vikram, the landlord simply shrugged. "You must have done something wrong," Vikram said coldly. Turning away, word began to spread through the village. Another farmer had lost his buffalo after following Vikram's confident advice about medicine. A young woman had made a terrible business decision based on Vikram's financial guidance. Slowly, people started to see the truth. Vikram's confidence was empty, hollow like a drum that makes noise but holds nothing inside. One evening, an old wandering sage named Gurudev arrived in the village. He had a long white beard and kind, knowing eyes. The villagers gathered around him, sharing their sorrows and seeking wisdom. When they mentioned Vikram, Gurudev said, "I would like to meet this landlord." The next morning, Gurudev knocked on Vikram's mansion door. Vikram, always eager to impress important visitors, welcomed him with great show. "Please sit," Vikram said loudly. "I am honored to have such a wise man in my humble home. Though I must say, I too have gathered much wisdom in my life." Gurudev smiled gently. "Tell me, Vikram, what is the secret to growing the best wheat?" Vikram's heart began to race, but he forced a confident smile. "Everyone knows this. You must plant during the full moon, water twice daily, and sing to the crops every morning." Gurudev nodded slowly. "And have you done this yourself?" "Well, I oversee others who do it." Vikram stammered, but still tried to sound sure of himself. "I see," said Gurudev. "And tell me, what causes a child's fever to break?" Again, Vikram invented an answer, speaking with false certainty about herbs he had never used and remedies he had never tried. After listening patiently, Gurudev stood up. "Vikram, may I tell you a story?" Vikram nodded, relieved to stop answering questions. "There once was a clay pot that was beautifully painted and decorated," Gurudev began. "It sat in the market, and everyone admired how fine it looked. One day, a woman needed to fetch water from the well. She chose this beautiful pot and filled it up. But as she walked home, the water began to leak. The pot had cracks hidden beneath its beautiful paint. By the time she reached home, the pot was empty. The woman threw it away and chose a simple, honest pot instead, one that held water even though it looked plain. Vikram felt his face burn with shame. He understood the message. Gurudev placed a gentle hand on Vikram's shoulder. "My son, there is no shame in not knowing. The shame is in pretending to know. Real confidence comes not from having all the answers, but from having the courage to say, "I don't know, but I will learn." You have been wearing a mask of false confidence for so long that you have forgotten your true face. Tears filled Vikram's eyes. For the first time in years, he felt the heavy weight of his pretense lifting. "But Gurudev, everyone expects me to be strong and knowledgeable. I am the landlord. What will they think if I admit I don't know things?" "They will think you are honest," Gurudev replied. "They will think you are human. And they will respect you more than they ever did when you were faking." That night, Vikram could not sleep. He thought about all the people he had hurt with his hollow advice. He thought about Raju's dying crops and hungry children. He realized that his fake confidence had caused real suffering. The next morning, Vikram did something he had never done before. He called a village meeting and stood before everyone with trembling hands. "I have something to say," he began, his voice shaking. "I have been lying to you all. I pretended to know things I didn't know. I gave advice I had no right to give. Because of me, crops have died and families have suffered. I am deeply sorry." The villagers were silent. Some looked angry, others confused. But then Raju stood up. "Thank you," he said simply. "Thank you for finally telling the truth." From that day forward, Vikram changed completely. When someone asked him a question he didn't know, he said honestly, "I don't know, but let's find someone who does." He began learning from the farmers instead of pretending to teach them. He studied crops, animals, and the real problems of his people. He was no longer the loudest voice in the village, but he became the most trusted. His real confidence grew slowly, built on genuine knowledge and honest mistakes. He learned that saying, "I don't know," was not weakness. It was the first step toward real wisdom. Years later, Vikram had become truly wise, not because he knew everything, but because he had learned to be honest about what he didn't know. Gurudev visited him once more before leaving the village forever. "You have learned well," Gurudev said with a warm smile. "Remember, a cup that is already full cannot receive any water. Only by admitting our emptiness can we be filled with real knowledge. True confidence is not loud, it is quiet, steady, and built on truth." Vikram bowed deeply. "Thank you for showing me that being hollow and being humble are not the same thing." The old sage laughed softly. "And thank you for having the courage to stop faking and start becoming." And so, the once hollow landlord became a man of genuine wisdom, teaching everyone that real strength comes not from pretending to be strong, but from being brave enough to be real.